It's used for a bunch of official Perl projects. It's an onion on Dan's shirt there with staff. cPanel had those amazing flashing onion shirts. So this is our logo. We have been registering trademarks in the U.S.A, Canada, the European Union, and Japan. Since I spoke to you last year, we have got our registered trademark in Canada. So that was successful. We are re-registering our trademark in the United States. I have not heard from our lawyer, so I assume there's no problems. Seriously, I assume there are no problems. Not yet. So then there's no problem. Okay, and one of the things about a registered trademark is it has to be seen to be used. So the Perl community has more than one mark. And thankfully, I requested from the people who run Perl.org that we have an onion on the download screen, because that is good evidence for us to use this in America. We have 2 cases in Japan. I don't know, yes. So we did one of them in conjunction with the Japanese Perl Association, and the person who runs the Japanese Perl Association is in the audience. I will say nice things like the JPA. Okay, so we wanted to register the onion device and Perl. Some people think we've registered the bare word Perl. We've never tried to do that. This is all about the onion in association with Perl. We wanted to do that in Japan. We didn't run into any problems really in the European Union, Canada, or America, but the word Perl was already owned by 2 Japanese companies. It's spelled differently, but that's the word Perl. Perl versus Perl. Paru versus Paru. It's exactly the same word in Japanese, right? So we failed. We did not win our court case. This, though, is the certificate showing that we have managed to register it, and we were only able to do that because our lawyers in Japan thought that they could negotiate with the 2 companies who owned the trademark in Japan. So there were 2 Japanese companies who agreed to assign this to us. They did not have to do that. The only thing they asked for was for their legal fees to be paid. So we're incredibly grateful for that. So we have managed to register Perl and the onion device in Japan. And the reason it was so important, because honestly, when we lost the court case, it's a lot of money to continue court cases. And we did consider not registering it because, well, I don't know how much we needed to have it in Japan, but there were 2 court cases in Japan. And the other one was to overturn the trademark on the bare word Perl. Because you see, someone else managed to register the word Perl in Japan in a different trademark class. So I know it's hard to get people to realize that trademarks can be an important thing, but when someone else who's not involved with Perl manages to register a trademark, things can get difficult for the community. And the Japan Perl Association got in touch with the Perl Foundation and asked if we would help support this particular case. So in October, that case was overturned. There is now no registration of the bare word Perl in Japan anymore, but we do have a registration of Perl on our onion device. So the legal things were incredibly successful this year. I got a lot of work done. For a while, people thought I was being very quiet about what was happening in the Perl Foundation, but a lot of my time has been taken up talking to lawyers. And I'm sure you all understand that I cannot blog about all those things to do with lawyers. I just can't. And I've even been careful not to mention too many names here this morning. But really, I'm very grateful. Many, many people in the Perl Foundation sent us evidence for that case in Japan. There was months of work put into it. I had people from Europe sending me magazines to prove that the word Perl was in common usage. I had people from America. I mean, the community really got behind it, even though we had to do it very quietly. Very quickly, a few other things that we're doing. We now have a marketing committee that deals with marketing. There's a useful slide. But I think I keep that slide because, you know, marketing and Mark Keating just amuses me so much every time I see it. I'm sorry, Mark, I can't help but I just get amused, easily amused.
It's fine. I'll tell it.
Yes. So yes, Mark Keating runs our marketing committee. He is responsible for our social networking. I'm sure you probably noticed that we've started to do things like Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus and the many, many social network things that exist out there. We never did this before. We're getting better at it. JT has done a great job with this conference in sending information out to people. We really need to be better at that, and Mark is working to help us improve our communication. Perl.com, we fund the articles that are written for Perl.com. The domain is, we're allowed to use it generously by the person who owns it, and we have been trying to get up-to-date content on it. The other thing that marketing has been doing is trying to improve our websites. So YAPC.org was changed this year. very embarrassingly, at one point, it didn't actually have the details of this conference. So it kind of was a wee bit out of date. But Mark was working on that and will continue to do so. I'm going to end on a bit of a sad note. I hear that they could be streaming, and I really wanted to be upbeat about everything, but we didn't get into the Google Summer Code this year. We did a lot of promotion for it, and we did a lot of work, and I know some people were very disappointed. I also know that it was not because of the quality of the application. It was simply because there were so many organizations who want to take part in the Google Summer Code. So I'm hoping that Florian and his team will have the energy. It's very hard to have the energy to do all this voluntary work, especially if it, isn't successful. So I'm really hoping that they have the energy and motivation to try again next year to continue to take part in the Google Code-in. And I think it will go well because this scheme was very successful for us last year. And given the time, that's all I'm going to say. So thank you very much for coming and listening. And I stood behind a podium for you. Hopefully I danced less. Oh, I should. Yeah.